Hey, come here. I'll let Seven meet everyone. And this is our little Yorkie. The only time I can trick her is if someone's at the door and I say, "Who's that?" So my name's Leonidas Gulaptis and I play Donald Walters. I'm originally from a small country town called Maclean. I grew up there for 18 years and all I wanted to do was play cricket for Australia. And then within 6 months I just wasn't performing. I put a lot of pressure on myself and I would work harder. I know I would work harder than anyone else, but I didn't have it up here. And I was hating and I was resenting cricket. I said, I'm done, I've had enough. I remember my dad looking over to me and he was just saying, maybe it's time to think of doing something else. And I thought about it and I was like, I want to be an actor. And I think my dad was like, son, I don't think you're getting it. When I first got the audition for The Answer, I had no idea what it was about. I remember the casting director come out to me and she said, they love it when you smile. They love it. Just keep smiling. I'm like, oh, okay.
In fact, I kept asking him to smile because, you know, Swami had this wonderful smile. It used to light up the room. And I found that in Leon a lot. And, you know, during the audition, I kept saying, can you smile once more for me, please?
And I remember they said to me, like, that you're one of the favourites, but we can't give you the role yet. We still have to go for a casting in Romania, but, you know, you're right in there. Just hang in there. It must have been a while then before I heard it. It was probably like a month. And then I called one of the casting directors who called me in and I said, hey, you know, I haven't heard from you guys in a while. What's happening? Am I still in the running for this? And he said, we're actually going to call you today because of what delayed it was. We had some bad news that Swami Kriyananda had passed. And this was the person that I was auditioning for. And so obviously it was sad for me as well. And you know, it was before I got a chance to meet him. So I go in to meet them and I'm thinking, there's no way I could be doing this scene again. This would be the 4th time. I said, I don't know what else. Because I usually say, maybe, you know, play around with it, do something different. And I'm like, there's nothing, I don't know what else I can do different with this one scene. But they actually offered me the part.
There were so many who had come and there were other roles he was auditioning for too. But he was the only one who understood the scene without any direction even at that time, you know. Of his own. He understood that scene so well. And that gave us the hint that, you know, he has got the essence of the whole script even without reading it. Right. And it was a godsend.
So the film's about Swami Kriyananda, aka Donald Walters. We follow his journey from pretty much from when he was born through to the ages I play, which is around 18 to 24, 25, when he followed Yogananda. So he became his direct disciple and he was always constantly looking for the answer, hence the name of the film. He's always constantly searching. He was such an inquisitive person and he stumbles across this Hindi scripture and it's the first thing I think in his life that actually resonates with him. And then he gets this passion for this scripture and he goes across his bookstore and he comes across Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi. He reads it and he's captivated by this book and then all of a sudden these emotions, everything, he just resonates so much with this and he decides to dedicate his life to becoming a disciple for Yogananda. So we see this journey of Donald, through living with the monks, following Yogananda, his change in becoming a vegetarian, all these processes. It's a whole life transformation. I immersed myself in Autobiography of a Yogi, The New Path. I visited an ashram where I took meditation, chanting, singing. I ate lunch with a mentor there who would talk to me and lecture me on Swami's teachings and all the things that he did and try to immerse myself in just the type of person he was. And he, like, you know, for instance, his physicality, how he would walk, how he would sit, how he would talk. I had to lose a lot of weight because I was a little bit too big, so I stopped going to the gym. I would just cut back on a lot of meat and I just did a lot of cardio, so I had to slim down. Well, when I first started out, I think he's about 18, 19 and he's very young. And I mean, when I shave, I look pretty young straight away in the comb over. And I think, you know, just being a little bit more playful to when he goes to become a monk, that little things like walking straight with your back out, you know, standing up straight, sitting up straight, because that's how he presents himself because of the spine. You just slow your speech down. And he's very, they said he's very like focused when he talks.
Everyone says you try and find a bit of yourself that you can relate to. And there's other people who will say, you know, well, you've already got those bits. Try and find bits where you're not related to that person, because they're the bits that you need to work on to get to them.
First of all, I'll pull back and look down on it and say, okay, what does he want like the most in this world? Like he's super objective. If we're going to go to acting techniques, what's his super objective? What does he want? And for Donald Walters, it's like to find God and to help others find God. And then for me, it's kind of like, okay, how can I relate to this?
But I always felt very similar to Swami as far as he was always questioning everything. Like, why are we here? Why is that like that? And what is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? And I feel like everyone has that. When you find out the things that this man has done and the lives he has touched and the achievements he's made all over the world, I mean, how could anyone play him? There's going to be one day on set where someone's going to go, "You're right, you're not him, get out, you're a phony." I'm fully indebted and so grateful for Pavan picking me for this role. I mean, I always say to him that I'm going to look back on this moment and say, this is the moment where you were the first person to give me this break, and the belief and the trust that he gave me. And I remember he pulled me aside at the wardrobe at the screen test, and he said, "Leon, I have absolute trust in you, and I just ask that you trust me." And from that moment, I'm just, whatever he said went. It doesn't matter, and I have absolute complete trust in him. I've never seen someone who's just got such a vivid understanding of a script, and there'll be things every night I'd go home from set and I'll be looking at the next scene for the next day, and Pavan would just pull these moments out that I just never saw, and it was just these magic moments. Nearly every line he could pull a moment out of there and then just would capture something magic. And just to work with him, and even Victor and I both talked about this, that he's such an actor's director. He gives you the complete compassion and empathy that he gives you for the work that goes in for an actor, and he's just so understanding, and he's just so there for you, and he is so respectful of just how you go about your craft, and very understanding. And there's so many times where you know no matter what, he's there to catch you. And Kavita was the producer on the film, and she's such a fantastic, giving, spiritual lady that she too has this aura about her, and she's got such a sweetness, and you just can see it in her eyes. And she too had this vivid understanding of how the answer was meant to be. And I mean, her and Pavan could just see it. They really could. And I mean, I couldn't see it. I obviously trusted them, but I couldn't see the vision that they had. And she really was such a sweet person. I always remember Kavita walking around with her little Kindle with Swami's music playing all the time, and I think that would relax everyone. And you could hear her coming because you could hear Swami's music coming with her. And what a fantastic once again, I can't speak highly enough of her. And then my very first encounter with Victor was I was sitting at the top of the stairs, and I look over because everyone's like, "Where is Victor? Where is this big guy? This big star coming in?" And then he arrives there at night at Ananda, and I'm like, I see this gentleman walk around the corner. I'm standing there, and he looked up at me, and I looked down at him, and he said, "You wouldn't happen to have a bottle opener, would you, for a bottle of wine?" I said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't." But I went down and I said, "Hey, I'm Leon. I'm playing Swami. Hey, how are you?" And he is honestly, he treats everyone the exact same, and he's just such a true professional. All you can do when you're alongside him is just react. That's all you have to do. I mean, and he would give you the same to you as if the camera was on him when it's not on him. I mean, such a selfless actor.
This is another thing about playing this character, like these little signs that you see. Victor had on the same cologne that my dad wore, and they say smell is your strongest trigger. And because every time, like in our scenes, I could smell that. And Donald and Yogananda's relationship is nearly like a father and son. It's nearly like that, and I could sense it straight away just from that cologne that Victor just had on. It was just so random. And
one of my favourite scenes was the soccer scene. I remember reading that too in the book. Pavan and Hiro, the DOP, they shot that beautifully. I thought, thinking, oh well, like kicking a soccer ball is not that bad. That's not going to be that. They turned it into something scary, and the shots, the cutaways, and the ball pounding against the wall, and there's no music, and the way they've done it is like, I love that scene. The first scene where Donald meets Yogananda for the first time, that was such a important scene in the entire film, and it was an important scene for me as well, and I think for Victor. And every single day we would come into the trailer, checking the call sheet, seeing when this one scene was, because it goes for 6.5, 7 pages. It's huge. And it was a long day, it was hot, and it was just one of my proudest moments, was just because I felt I was really connected, and I could just feel that the hard work that I had put in for that role showed in that one scene. I mean, even if it's not throughout the rest of the movie, I felt really, good about that scene.
We filmed at downtown LA at the bookshop, and it was really crazy. It says in the script, because it's based in New York, that he's on Fifth Avenue and he sees a bookshop. And in downtown LA, there's a bookshop where we film, which is on 5th Street. So if you can't see any signs in that, it's pretty incredible. And the shop was beautiful itself. And today we're on location here with the train scenes, and I think it's at a museum, and it's really, really beautiful. And there's, it looks like it's such a period piece.
The desert shoot was incredible as too. It was amazing as well. I don't even know who finds these locations, because you get your call sheet and you're like, this is the address, you punch it in and you turn up. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. That was a really early morning shoot. I remember driving and the sun was just coming up, and then all of a sudden it just becomes really pink and then orange and then really bright, and then you just see the beauty of the desert. And we were there at the perfect time because it was nice and cool. And once again, to recreate 29 Palms out there is, I mean, they've captured it all. I feel like it's ticked every box. And look, we always say this is a spiritual film. It's not like one of your mainstream commercial films, and I feel, yes, they're great and we all want to be a part of them, but we need a film like this today, because we get a lot of negativity, especially on the news, and a lot of heavy, gritty type of films, and it's nice to have a film to come through where you feel good at the end of it. And it's all about, just being selfless, thinking of other people. I think in the trailer it says, as soon as this eye shall die, then the eye will know who I am. For the budget and for what you see, it seriously looks like you're looking at like a $40 million film plus, like one of these big blockbusters. I mean, they've captured some of the shots in here. I'm just like, is this the same movie we were filming? It's unbelievable. I mean, Romania, India, Ananda, LA, they've captured it all. I mean, it's unbelievable. They captured everything, and you feel like you're there in that time. And I think this was set around the 40s, I think it was. And in Romania, I think might have been 1930s. And you see the clothes, the outfits. I actually felt like I was back in those times. These type of films, I mean, look, it's a spiritual film. It's not your commercial film. But I would say that it is for everyone. But I'll say the people that do go, just go with an open mind and an open heart, and you'll be very surprised. You really will, and you'll feel joy at the end of it.